How do we help young people navigate life in today's world? How do we help them to thrive and to flourish? This is what I'll be addressing in this video. Taking with notes, applying yourself excellence to your but we have some So, in the era of AI, one question that's going to come up is, what should kids learn in terms of skill sets for the future? I was listening to a professor of Harvard Business School who was giving a lecture in India. I believe it was hosted in India. And he's also, I believe, from India. But he was sharing about education and different aspects of learning. And I loved the talk. It was excellent. I'll try and find the link and put in the description section. But someone asked him that question, right? What should we do about educating kids for the future? And one thing that really hit me while I was listening to him is the fact that the way to go is classical education. I think classical education is the way of the future. I really do. And there are several reasons why I think that. And in this episode or series of episodes, I'm going to pull up some, I'm going to start using some notes in the future. But right now, I'm just going to say this, that I am going to release a series of videos on education. I have so many books I want to talk about. The time won't allow us to finish this in a week, right? This is probably going to take us a few years. But I have a few books, and 3 of them specifically here: Wisdom and Eloquence, The Virtuous Minds, and The Thomas Jefferson Education. We're going to talk about those 3 books. To my left, I have several books just talking about education. I have some from David Freeman from England, who started a school at Oxford and has provided support for many schools around the world. I have some books from old books. I even have one called A Place Called School by John Goodlad. And what's interesting is that he was talking about the importance of customizing education, personalizing learning for students. Guys, the Industrial Revolution, of course, has a lot of benefits we can talk about. And the AI revolution, as Jensen Huang from NVIDIA would say, the AI revolution basically is almost like coming back to a new revolution of a different kind. Now, I've studied the scientific revolution. I'm going to be studying the Industrial Revolution, and then we're going to be talking about the AI revolution. So this channel is going to have a lot of good things for parents to navigate. Part of my work in the scientific revolution, before I go into classical education, let me give a quick plug for my flashcards. But I'm making these flashcards of different people. Like this one is Gottfried Leibniz at the back. It'll tell you something about the person. This one is Johannes Gutenberg. This is Michael Faraday. Faraday was a boss. Let me not get started on Faraday because I will keep talking for a while. The other guy that people know people know I love talking about is Clerk Maxwell, James Clerk Maxwell. Okay, of course, Isaac Newton has a card. Okay, so basically what we're going to do is we're going to make these flashcards like classical education is used to seeing, right? Where people can just look at the card, tell me something about Michael Faraday, right? Tell me a little bit about his life and what he did to change the world. We want to teach math and science from a classical approach, right? So this video is going to focus on this issue, okay? About why classical education is the way of the future, both here in America and in Africa. Dr. Bob Marks has written a book called Non-Computable You, what you do that artificial intelligence never will. Okay, AI is great. The era we're living in is interesting. AI has some concerns. I guess I have concerns of how AI could be used. And of course, this happens with a lot of technologies. What I do want to say is this. Classical education and the emphasis it brings to the table of reading some of the classics. For example, this is Plutarch, okay? These are 2 books here by Plutarch. One is called How to Be a Leader, and the other one is called Roman Lives by Plutarch. When you read Plutarch, when you read Socrates and Plato and Aristotle, when you read the original works, right? It will do something to your mind and your ability to reason, such that no matter what the future brings in this educational, accelerated AI space and so on, no matter what the future brings, your ability to think critically, your ability to reason well will take you far. And that's part of what classical education emphasizes. Classical education is not just trying to get students to pass a state test, but here's what's crazy. People that go to classical schools in general, that like the results of classical schools compared to other kinds of schools like there's a great divide, right? The classical schools are doing great when it comes to standardized testing. But that's not the reason why they teach with rigor. It's not to pass a test. But when you give them a test, they will destroy the test. Why? Destroy meaning that they will do very well on the test. Why? Because their minds are being taught to reason a certain way by what they're learning from the original writings of Plato and Socrates and Aristotle. There's something about that. It's not just that they're reading these great books. Here's the other thing classical schools are doing, is being able to take an idea like the scientific revolution and being able to articulate what are the causes of the scientific revolution, what led to the scientific revolution happening, and where have we gotten now from the scientific revolution happening. These guys are taught to think very well. Now, there's the trivium, the quadrivium, there's all these nuts and bolts of classical education. You know what we could do? We could go through this book, right? We could read books like this on this channel and talk about how to help young people flourish. So I believe that classical education is the way of the future. And one of my goals, God willing, is to find ways to make it more available to students around the world. Starting in Nigeria, South Africa, Zambia, Tanzania, Ghana. Let's give educators resources to provide high quality education. Classical education is a wonderful tool. When children learn, it's not just about what they're learning. It's about the attitude with which they're learning the thing they're learning. The attitude with which they're learning. What is their posture when they come to learn? There's so much we can discuss on this. So please send me your questions about education, classical education, how to have a world-class education, and let me know how I can help. But we are going to provide you with resources and tools to provide your children with a quality education in the 21st century. So AI can really help, but we still have to ask the question of what are the tools that we can gain now that would make sure that no matter what the future brings, we're set and we're good to go. So we'll continue our series on helping children flourish when it comes to education, and that's part of the goal of this podcast series. I look forward to sharing more with you, and I look forward to your questions. My email is amosthemathguy@gmail.com, amosthemathguy@gmail.com. If you're looking for tutoring, by the way, in math or science, reach out to amosthemathguy@gmail.com or visit my website at amosthemathguy.com. We plan to provide tutoring and academic support to students. No matter what school you attend, that is one way we can provide you with support. We're forming a network with a series of tutors that are going to be trained in the counting to calculus model that I put together, which guides students from basic math all the way to calculus 5, they call it. All the way to calculus 5, while they're still in high school. So they can graduate high school with 30 college credits in math. And this is applicable to people who might not even be in America. So reach out to amosthemathguy@gmail.com if I can help in any way with your child's journey in education. And hopefully someday we'll have our summit of classical and STEM education combined, providing students with the best of both worlds within a Christian framework, a Christian worldview that shows them that it all begins with God. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. I look forward to sharing more with you. Stay tuned, but we are going to revolutionize education in this day and age for the glory of God. Take care. It's going to be online. It's going to be in person, a little bit of an in-person hybrid, but mostly online. So please stay tuned. Follow our work. Livingsensibly.org is going to have more information about it. Livingsensibly.org. That's where all the education stuff will be housed. Take care and have a blessed day.